Hey, it's Heather, and today I'm making roast turkey with stuffing. Perfect for the holidays. It's a recipe based on a Julia Child one with Jacques Pepin, and it's faster cooking, but it's pretty hard. It's serious prep because I separate the breast from the leg to allow for more even cooking. Now, I strongly suggest that if you're going to do it, don't get bigger than like 12, 13 pounds. Okay, the first thing I do, I already tucked the wings back behind. I am looking to just sort of guide my knife. So I make like a little cross thing going right there on the back. Now, with gravity to help me, I'm going to take my knife and just sort of take off the leg. Now, air on the side, pull to the side near the thigh and the leg because you want to preserve all the skin you can for the breast. That way it will not be so dry. Okay, so now I'm just sort of just cutting the skin, and I'm going to go over to that part and then just taking it in. Okay, so my skin is cut. So now what we have to do is sort of open up that joint. Okay, there's some tendons and such. See, now I'm going to cut right through. There it is. My leg piece is cut. Now, what I'm going to also do to this thigh piece is that we're going to debone this. And we're going to stuff the thigh with some stuffing and then wrap it up. Looks really good. Okay, all right, so there goes my two legs. Now, I need to cut off this back, which is, with the chicken, you can definitely do your hand. Sometimes with the turkey, you can't. Okay, here. Now this is the backbone. I'm putting it on this tray because we're going to roast the bones with some carrots and onions and celery, mirepoix as I was trained to call it, so that we can get a phenomenal stock. But first we have to take the remaining back out of the turkey. So if you're like super strong dude, you can just probably whack it. I am not that good. So I have my trusty mallet. Okay, one side. Second side's harder. Okay. You know, that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Now, what I sometimes do before I start any of this is take the wishbone out because that makes for easier carving. But we're not going to do that today because we're doing this as easy as we can possibly do. Like I said before, we are going to take this thigh bone out. We're going to cut along the bone, sort of open it up, carefully get your knife under. You don't want to break the skin. All right, the worst is over. You just going on the bone. Let the knife rest on the bone. There we have it. Okay. Now you just scrape it down. As much as you can, you scrape it down. Get down to that bone. And just cut it out. Okay, it's free. Save the bone. We're going to roast that too. So what we have here is a nice pocket of meat. And you'll see it's going to be fabulous. Okay, I'll do the other one. That's the stuffing. The whole thing with stuffing is you have to really make sure you do not do it in advance. Only do it when you're ready to cook, and that you don't overstuff your bird. It's definitely something that, while delicious, has a high incidence of bacteria. So you have to be careful with it. Okay, so as you see, I've put, I don't know, 2 tablespoons of maybe, third of a cup of stuffing in here. And I could sew it closed, but I'm going to use these groovy little turkey lacers available at any market, probably just like the regular grocery store this time of year. And I'm just going to sort of pierce through. Okay. Now, I also, of course, season this part here, both sides. And what I often do, I find it works better, it keeps it from browning too quickly, is I sort of cover the thigh like this for the first part of the cooking, and then I will take it off to brown later. We're going to mound our stuffing right here on the pan. First, I take a little bit of oil just to help it from sticking. Spread that around there. Okay, now you may not be able to get all the stuffing you'd like in the roasting pan, in which case you can just get a side dish and cook your stuffing separately. It works really well. Again, I always use kosher salt, freshly ground black pepper, because I like the salt, kosher salt in particular. It's just, you can just sort of feel the amounts. You get used to measuring it with your hands. Okay, there I have it. Put a little oil on here. Should have done that first. Okay. And now we're going to put it in a 325, 350 oven. Okay, we're ready to do the stock or broth. And I'm taking out my roasted bones. Now this is definitely something you can do stovetop. It doesn't have to go underneath. The point is to get that brown color. I just put everything in and deglaze. What I mean by deglaze is, you see all these brown bits? That is where the flavor is. So, usually do this over heat, but this pan is hot enough. I take a little water. It could be stock, it could be wine, and I just try to loosen up, yum, 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 those little bits. You get a little obsessive. Oops, I admit. Okay, now my water, basically just to cover, and you're going to bring it to a boil and let it simmer. So now we're going to do a gravy. Now typically, old-fashioned method, you roast the turkey, you take the turkey out, and then you make the gravy in the pan. But because we made our stock, this is a great way to do it ahead. 2.5 cups of stock, and what I have here is just about 3 tablespoons of flour mixed in with a liquid. And if you want a richer gravy, you simply have to do 2 things. You have to roast your bones longer, and you have to reduce your stock. That means boil it out until it's a bit more concentrated. But this works for me. Quick read, it goes in a thick part. Let's see where we're at here. Woohoo! We are fast approaching the magic number of 165 for poultry. Very fast approaching. Okay, but you also must, whenever you have stuffing, you have to also check your stuffing. Oh, yeah, that's definitely hot. Now, my legs, I'm going to check those too. This is 170. We are close on the thighs. Okay, this, you can present it like this, just sort of reconstruct it, put some vegetables around, it looks very nice. But traditionally, I do not present my turkey like that. I carve it and put it on a platter and bring it to the table ready to serve. Now, one of my favorite things to do with this is the thigh, because I want to show you what it looks like stuffed. Okay, there it is. See how we're going to slice the whole thing and bring it to the table. All right, here we have it, our turkey dinner. We have our white meat that's perfectly cooked, our dark meat that is stuffed with the stuffing, absolutely fabulous. And of course I had to throw in some mashed potatoes, some roasted vegetables just to round out the plate. When you're cooking turkey, main thing, like any poultry, gotta get it up to temp, at least 165 on the breast, 170 on the leg. Use those quick read thermometers. If when you're carving you notice a little pink on the edges, don't freak out. That's just the way turkey cooks. If it's towards the bone, then you may need to put the piece back. This is a complicated recipe, so I strongly suggest if you want to take it on, either hit my website, soga.tv, or check out the cookbook, Julia Childs and Jacques Pepin. I'll give you more information on my website. Now, it is time for the wine. When pairing with a Thanksgiving type meal, you have a wide range of foods, so I always put a red and a white on the table. I go with a lighter bodied red and a heavier bodied white. I have a Barbera from a Thai, which is a smooth, easy drinking red wine, very friendly, about 13 bucks a bottle. The white I have is about the same price, and it is from Côte d'Aron's, which you probably usually associate with reds. Big and juicy, very little oak, absolutely delicious. So here we go. Of course, take a little sip. A little taste. Yes. SoGood.tv. Thanks.